And now, it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, thank you for making us a part of your day. Try a few, Ben.
E on my computer's not working. E is an important letter.
I love, and I should, I know we can Google such things these days, but the guy that voiced Baloo the bear is in like every single Disney movie from 1945 to like 1992.
I believe that.
He's also in a voice of bears. He's also Little John in Robin Hood.
You can definitely hear it.
Yeah, it's the same dude.
Yeah.
He's in the Aristocats.
Okay.
As I rewatch all these with my children, it stands out to me. It's like, this is the same guy. Kind of like Mel Blanc or whatever that guy's name was.
Funny you brought him up. Yeah.
Voiced all of the Warner Brothers stuff.
Like his actual voice is Sylvester. And then everything is just an octave higher or lower.
Right.
And it's Bugs or Daffy or whatever. Yeah.
The Simpsons has a little bit of this, right? You know, where
Hank Azaria.
Hank Azaria does like 15 characters.
Harry Shearer.
Or whatever. But that dude right there was legend. Baloo the bear. Ben, there's a reason that we're playing that.
You think those guys were just under contract? Do you think that was still the old movie days where they're like, yeah, you signed a 10-movie deal with us?
No, I think...
So you're doing all the voices.
I think... I think those franchises are based around talented people that started them. And then at the time they started, the movie studios were not swimming in billions of dollars. Yeah, what's the Tom Hanks movie about the making of Mary Poppins?
Yeah.
It's kind of a good look at it, I think, because when they introduce her to the room of people she'll be collaborating with, it's all the same people that do all the Disney stuff.
Saving Mr. Banks.
There you go. Good movie. But I think Walt rattles off the resume of all the people in the room that she'll be working with, and it's like, oh, these guys are the ones that wrote all those Disney songs, during that period or whatever, because the studios were smaller and they used talented people to do what they do. But the animators are all the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes.
Well, you can see
you have a studio, yeah.
You can see it in the characters that are drawn that are so similar.
Right.
Baloo the bear and what's this called from Robin Hood? Little John from Robin Hood are probably the exact same bear.
Yeah. Change a couple things. Now it's a little longer.
Yeah,
whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
But
different color.
It's probably the same guy drawing it, right? And the same guy voicing it. They're like, hey, that worked. You could see the marketing meeting. Like, oh, this was a beloved character. Let's repurpose it in a different story.
Guy's name is Phil Harris, who does the voice. His first name, I've never heard this name before, is Wonga.
I like it.
Wonga.
Wonga,
which sounds like that's what you would have named a bear in a Disney cartoon. Wonga the bear.
It does kind of sound like that.
Okay.
Like that.
Anyways, learn something.
Like that?
It's funny that Hollywood has no new ideas. And I got to tell you, the remake of Jungle Book was so bad that it might have even ruined the original for me. It was just so terrible. And I was so upset after the movie.
Jake was in tears.
I was so upset after the movie that, I don't know. Christian, is your generation into these remakes?
No,
like, why do they
I'm
keep
not.
making money? Who's going to them?
Older people.
Older
people who took their kids when we were young. Seems like they're going back thinking that they'll relive that.
Well, are they allergic to money or something? They can just stream the original. It's easier than it has been in human history.
We like what's familiar.
Remade?
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Is that why I keep buying the same basically pair of shorts over and over again?
How many times have you seen 311?
Oh, yeah, a lot.
Just turn it on YouTube.
I've been made fun of. You know what? I've been made fun of for this, and it quite hurt my feelings. When I was in Kauai, I wanted to buy some new Hawaiian shirts. So I go to the store, I pick out 3 shirts, put them on the thing on the counter to pay for them. And the lady goes, "Why are you buying 3 of the same shirt?" It's like, wait, what are you talking about? Subtle difference.
Yeah.
This is a long sleeve. This is a short sleeve. This has a stripe here or whatever. And yeah, she ridiculed me, and it quite hurt my feelings. Oh. And I did buy the shirts.
Sports are no different.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's the same thing over and over. The same questions every year.
Same. I guess, I eat like 5 things for dinner that I enjoy over and over again.
Yeah.
And whenever a new recipe is tried, it's like, meh. Anyway, BYU, it's officially official, is it?
It's not.
Oh. Sources.
Well, BYU has announced it now?
Mitch wrote it up.
That doesn't mean BYU announced it.
It's being reported. And
Pete Thamel
reported it. Yeah. That the Bear Bachmeier is going to be the starting quarterback at BYU. They're going with the Frosh.
BYU is having a practice today, and the expectation is he will officially be named today. But everybody is getting out in front of it saying, yes, this is the news.
You think he's walking around the locker room, bossing people around?
He better.
Throwing his weight around already?
I would.
See, Pete Thamel reported my news.
Yeah. Didn't say your name, McKay.
How did your name... I wasn't saying that amongst the other quarterbacks. I mean, the team. That would be productive to drag McKay, saying, do you put everybody in their place? You're QB1 now.
Yeah. You get to pound QB2. Like a little brother.
Well, I think that says a lot about you more so than anything.
The Bear's a lot bigger than McKay.
Is that why you walk around here like dressing down everybody you talk to?
Every chance I get.
People you don't know.
Telling everyone I'm QB1.
You're like, I'm sure whatever you do, it's not as important as me. I cover the Jazz.
Let me ask you this. Now that we know it's Bear, or expect it fully to be Bear, versus McKay, does it reset your expectations for BYU season at all?
Reset from what? I have no idea what the expectations are. We're talking about that. What do you mean reset from?
You've not thought about this upcoming 2025 BYU football season in the slightest.
Do you have any idea if the Bear is any good? Do you have any clue?
No, that's exactly the question. That's exactly why I'm asking you the question. Right. We don't know. That's why I'm asking you the question.
You said reset. Reset from what?
From if McKay had been the guy.
No, I don't know anything about him either.
Okay.
What?
Is your guacamole going to be good or not?
Listen, people tried to tell me Nate Johnson could throw the forward pass and that he was going to step in and all of a sudden be awesome. I had a co-host who told me Bryson Barnes was going to throw for 300 yards in week 1 or whatever that was.
I said 200 and he threw for 150 in the first half, and then he sat on the ball the second half of the game.
Because you have no idea. Like, no idea. I have no idea if the Bear is going to be any good. No clue.
So
just like when Brett Elliott went down against Texas A&M and they had to go to Alex Smith, nobody had any idea.
Correct.
He was the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Urban Meyer didn't even pick him coming out of camp. So reset from what?
Okay. So here, let me ask you. I'll set it up again. Does your opinion change from the day after we did our show when Jake Retzlaff had officially left BYU and we knew there was going to be a new quarterback battle? Are your expectations different today than they were that day?
With Jake Retzlaff or from the post-news?
Post-Retzlaff.
No, it's absolutely been the same since that day that you abandoned me and went on vacation, and I had to do a whole show talking about that.
We didn't know he was gone yet. I was back by the time he left.
No, of course. Well, I knew that day. If you were actually thinking about it clearly, that day you knew what the end game of that was going to be. Yet people were still tap dancing around. Well, I wonder if they could keep him, depending on if he. Anywho,
yeah.
No, that from that minute until this minute, my opinion can be reset from nothing because I have no idea, and neither do you, and neither is Christian. And probably neither do the coaches. Urban Meyer didn't know that he had the number 1 pick in the dang draft sitting on his bench. He had no clue. So, I've also seen BYU waffle between a freshman John Beck and Matt Berry, neither of whom were any good at that moment in time.
Yeah.
They both sucked. And John Beck turned out to be a 3rd-round pick in the NFL draft and one of the better quarterbacks in BYU history. So, no, I don't know. No, BYU fans are like, he could be Cam Rising. You don't know that.
Of course. Yeah,
He doesn't know that.
No, nobody knows.
Nobody knows that.
You're right. We don't know what to expect.
He could throw an interception to a defensive end on his first pass. He could be throw picks last year, where he couldn't even throw to himself in the first whatever game it was, and then all of a sudden he's a Pro Bowl guy leading the Dogs to how many wins in a row, Christian?
7, I think.
He went from I should be playing tennis to lock this guy up long term in a month and a half. So reset from what? I ask again. No, my expectations haven't changed at all because they've got a good team with a big, a quarterback, the most important position.
I will say you, more than I, was riding the Hillstead train. You were more on board with Hillstead because he played 8 games at Utah State and this is now his 3rd year in college football. Would that have changed your thoughts at all?
Once again, that is mischaracterizing my opinion. My opinion was, with all his built-in advantages, he should be taking that job by the short hairs. And despite those built-in advantages, they're going with the Frosh. So I don't know what that says about McKay Hillstead. I don't know how good he is. I have no idea. I just know that if you have a 1.5 year head start and 8 starts more experienced than the other guy, you should beat him out in camp.
And if you
That's
don't,
the point.
And if you don't, that doesn't change your opinion.
And the coach
you still just don't know.
The coach should kind of lean to you in a 50-50 battle because the coach is more familiar with you, and you should be the safer pick. And frankly, it's safer to move off of you when you probably do suck. So I don't know why he didn't get the job with those built-in advantages. I have no idea. It could be the pair as Alex Smith, I guess.
It is surprising that this is the first time a true freshman, assuming he stays healthy over the next week and a half, will have started game 1 at BYU. Now, in a sense, it's not. A lot of kids go on missions. B, they traditionally have pretty good quarterbacks, so if you're coming in as a true freshman to win the job, you would have to be really good. C is the weird scenario that we're going through, which is the established starter, for whatever reason, does not come back, and they're left in a pickle, and that takes some very specific timing because I think had the Jake Retzlaff news happened in March, BYU would have had a transfer coming in to start. A transfer beyond Bear Bachmeier.
Yeah, that could be true. I'm not surprised at all that they haven't started a true freshman. LaVell Edwards famously didn't play Jim McMahon because it wasn't his turn.
Yeah.
Like they created a system where you didn't play until your junior year. That was all on purpose, and that didn't change until probably the late 90s. And even then, no sane coach wants to start a true freshman. For all the reasons that McKay Hillstead should have had the advantage in camp, no sane coach ever wants to pluck the guy out of his prom and put him on the field to start football games in the Big 12. That's not something anybody wants to do. You want a 1.5 year experience before you have to throw them to the Wolves. You want at least a few games where they get a watch for a minute before you put them in because the fan base is about to burn the building down. I mean, no sane coach wants to make this decision. No offense to them down there. So I don't know. Is it picking between 2 overly ripe avocados? I mean, that's what we're talking about. You go with the one that maybe you can disguise as guacamole. And I guess that's the Bear. But I don't know how to reset expectations. Would they be any different with McKay? No, not really. Other than I would assume McKay would be less likely to turn the ball over. But maybe that's not true. He didn't get the job.
Okay, what are your expectations for BYU? Knowing that it's a true freshman, having a history of watching true freshmen play quarterback, which you've laid out for the last couple of weeks, and a really good team around him.
Well, how many mistakes that cost him games does the true freshman make?
Mm-hmm. That's the question.
How are you supposed to predict that? I have no idea. He could lose all their games for him.
Do you think legitimately they should be considered a threat to win the Big 12?
Probably not, no.
Yeah, I agree.
But I wouldn't have said that about him last year, and Jake Retzlaff turned out to be pretty good.
He did.
Again, we have no idea.
But that was a junior who had made some starts and had played at the lower level and done well before he got to BYU and was bad his first year and was very good his second. So, that's a lot different than what Bear is doing.
But their team isn't built for them to be bad. That's the thing. Like, again, I heard Gary Crowton forever say, we're a young team. We're a young team. BYU doesn't have that excuse. So if they're underperforming because true freshman is making mistakes and losing them games, I can't predict what's going to happen. You go to McKay and move off the Bear forever? I mean, how does that work? Like, Utah State has been battling all this crap forever, right? Mm-hmm. We have no idea. They're going from one guy to another, to another, to another. Moving Bryson Barnes in. How many times did Logan Bonner move in and out of the... I guess his was more due to injury, but you get my point.
Absolutely.
So, I don't know. I don't know how to predict that. Should their defense be elite in the Big 12? I think so, except for we don't know about their corners, which has always been the problem at BYU. That Jay Hill solved, but was that temporary? Can he replace those bodies? Because if he can't, then that defense is going to be limited.
Right. It's not the same room as last year.
No.
Dave Robinson is not coming back.
If you were going to tell me my confidence level of BYU flipping a position group, that would be the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
So even that's a huge question mark. And we can talk about Utah's question marks as well, but like impossible. It's why I hate that we're doing the stupid ranking thing today. I have no idea. Neither do you. Neither is Christian.
We shouldn't talk about anything until we have absolute certainty.
No,
Get the encyclopedia
We're
out.
talking about it now, but I'm not going to show disrespect for the intelligence of people by saying, like, actually, Ben, my expectations have gone from 8 wins to 7.2 based on absolutely nothing. And maybe I'm cynical and I'm tired of listening to the crap out there and people telling you that they know how it is when they absolutely does not. The coaches don't. This it could go so badly, it could get this staff fired for all I know. Now, it would have to go really badly. Have to go really badly. But I'll tell you what, they're worried about that.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, coaches are crazy. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But crazy like a fox. It's because that paranoia exists for a reason.
Yeah.
Because we have seen coaches. We saw Gus Malzahn at Auburn go from national championship to out on his backside in less than a year.
Yep.
You know? Like, you can't predict it. I mean, how many... I get it that nobody, and I do this too, like, it'll let things disappear into the past and don't own it. But how many people who talk about Utah for a living were walking around crowing about 12 wins or 11 wins or 10 wins?
Lots. Yeah.
Lots. I don't remember how many I predicted on this show. I'm probably guilty of it too. Mm-hmm. So why don't we say, like, the stone's on you to even predict that? What information were you basing it on?
Well, basing a team on the quality of their quarterback is not exactly a reckless thing to do. That's one of the easiest way to determine whether or not a player or whether a team's going to be good.
I think it can be. We criticized national sports people the other day because they don't know a lot about a lot. They know a little about a lot. And that feels to me like a national sports guy thing. Like, oh, I've heard of their quarterback. Yep. They're probably going to be pretty good, without looking at the nuance. And the nuance in Utah's case was, what if Cam doesn't play? Spent a year saying, well, as soon as Cam gets back on the field, well, what happens if he doesn't play? What happens if he had shoulder issues, knee issues? A hand issue is eventually what ended it, right? But, I mean, you could kind of predict that type of thing. Like, what are you going to do? They made a true freshman their backup quarterback, and it submarined the season. And I still feel bad for Isaac Wilson.
Because he was the QB2 job.
He was blamed for all of it.
He was.
All of it. All those people that were predicting Utah would win 10 games, their go-to narrative last year was, well, they still have the 10-win team, but look at this bozo. He's just screwing it up, ruining the whole worst season in Kyle Whittingham's entire career based on that guy. Way to go. Way to go, pal. I feel terrible for him.
Sure. That's exactly the situation BYU finds itself in now. They have a 10-win roster and might have a 5-win quarterback.
So how do you predict that? Yeah. If you look at Utah from 03 to 05 in preseason predictions, nobody predicted Utah was going to do anything in 03. They won the league going away. Lost one league game, I think, to New Mexico. And that was it. In 2004, they were picked to do it all because they brought the whole team back. In 2005, Ben, they were predicted to come in first by a mile. They replaced the whole team. Why would they be predicted to come in first? Urban had left.
Yeah.
We didn't know what kind of coach Kyle Whittingham would be. Brian Johnson was a 19-year-old sophomore. The defense, like Sione Buha, all those guys, all gone. And everybody goes, that's the first place team right there. And it's like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. Yeah. And they were better probably than they should have been until Brian Johnson got hurt. But they weren't the best team in the league. But those people don't know. And in that case, Ben, that's ignoring the fact that a team's replacing a quarterback.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've just never seen true freshmen outside of Johnny Manziel actually be good. Name the last time a true, not a red shirt, but a true freshman.
Trevor Lawrence was good. But yeah, I mean, we're talking about truly elite recruits.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember specifically. I just know, didn't Johnny Manziel win the Heisman as a true freshman?
Trevor Lawrence won the national championship at Clemson his freshman year.
So, I mean, even Tim Tebow sat behind Chris Leak.
Yeah.
So this is not ideal, but I don't know what it resets. It resets like a whole, I have no clue. If that's boring, I'm sorry. I think my reasoning's pretty good, and I'm not lying to people.
I just wanted to yell at you for a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe we did it.
If they had Retzloff back, yeah, I'd pick him probably top 3 in the league. Why not?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, I do think that corner thing is an issue that nobody is really talking about, but we'll see. And with Utah, we've talked about it ad nauseum. I mean, how does the offense fit with the defense? I think that's the whole conversation.
And now that becomes a question for BYU. It's funny how these two schools have begun to mirror each other.
Yep.
Not surprisingly when you look at the coaching staffs and where they came from and what they know.
So if you're just tuning in, the breaking news, Pete Thamel reporting that BYU at very least will have the bare necessities at quarterback, meaning somebody will be playing the position.
Bare necessities.
Really radical to start the season without a quarterback. 0 quarterback.
We're not going with one.
No QB.
None. It's all running backs and tight ends, baby. All right, stay tuned. Top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the Top 3 Stories of the Day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. You can win big every Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone with Win Ticket Wednesday. This week, go see the Counting Crows August 21st at Utah First Federal Credit Union Amphitheater. Don't miss the Counting Crows, the Complete Suites Tour with special guest, the Gaslight Anthem. Get your tickets at livenation.com or listen all day tomorrow for your chance to win. Time for the top 3 stories of the day, KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, Kyle Whittingham has decided that he's just done with depth charts.
It's shaped up. We probably won't release one, though, with the new, what do you call it, a health rule or the rule that the Big 12 put out. That's really all we'll release each week, who's available, who's not. But I can tell you that Isaac Wilson is number 2 right now. And who the travelers are, who the scout team guys are. 12 days out, it's time to really focus and hone in on UCLA.
Well, Isaac Wilson, the backup, I guess that is the one piece of news. You know, I feel like we've talked a lot about BYU this fall as opposed to Utah. A lot of it's because BYU will talk and Utah's not talking anymore. And they don't care. Utah doesn't care. But that is kind of how it works. Utah's been really quiet about everything. This is a further step or a further sign that that's going to be the case. There's not going to be a lot of conversation. There's not going to be a lot of, transparency. And they're comfortable doing that. I don't think it's good for the fans. I don't think it's good for the program necessarily, but obviously Witt does.
It's not good for anybody, and not that anybody up there cares about my opinion, but I I'm actually surprised that it's taken this long for Whit to get rid of depth charts because he's not compelled to do it. And it seems like, I mean, to your point, Utah is going to close everything off that they're not compelled to do. And then if you are going to compel them to do it, like the new Big 12 rules, well, he's just going to take away something else. You know, it seems almost petty, right? Like, oh, I guess if you're going to compel information out of me, well, I am going to give you only what you specifically compel from me. And that bugs me. And if I were in their ear and giving advice, I would say, listen, in the NIL era, you need this stuff. You need your fans obsessing about the depth chart. Ooh, did you see that this guy moved to this guy? He's the number 2 linebacker now. You need that buzz around your program, whether you realize it or not. And it's arrogance to think that that is just automatically there. And that has nothing to do with access and nothing to do with media, frankly, or social media or whatever. But you need buzz around your program more than ever. And if you just cut off all access, then the buzz is dampened. It is. And there's all sorts of examples throughout sports history that proves this concept. But the most obvious one is Mark Cuban with the Dallas Mavericks. When he bought the team, he went with the all news, or what's the saying? All news is good news.
Yeah.
All press is good press. He went on every radio station he could possibly find. He did every interview under the sun, and he took a franchise that was a dog and turned it into a cool, productive, thriving, eventual NBA champion franchise. That, you know, Dallas, Ben, I don't know how much time you spent down there, but you know that market. The Cowboys eclipse everything.
I mean, the entire sun, truthfully. Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's impossible to gain ground in Dallas. It's Texas, and it's Dallas Cowboys, and everything. The Rangers struggle to get attention. Dallas Mavericks were an afterthought. They were a Roy Tarpley joke. And he turned them into, honestly, one of the great franchises in the NBA.
They're one of the better franchises, for sure.
And he did that by creating buzz around his team, by not creating those walls. Pete Carroll, I mean, USC, when USC was in the middle of Pete Carroll's run, was bigger than an NFL team. Because they were LA's team and there was no NFL in the LA, they were bigger than the Minnesota Vikings. And Pete Carroll turned them into celebrities. Reggie Bush was dating Kim Kardashian. You remember that? Matt Leinart. I mean, they were huge because Pete leaned into the attention. Said, we're going to thrive from this attention. Everyone growing up in LA is like, I got to be on this team. Will Ferrell was at practice. Did you see that? But that's just me. I mean, that's the advice I give. This comes off as petty and, well, I'm going to keep this from you because I can. And I was doing a nice thing for you all these years by releasing a depth chart. Well, if you're going to compel info from me, well, no more. I'm doing just enough, just what I got to do, and that's it. I don't think that's the right way to go, personally.
Depth charts are a business. Who's our magazine guy? Phil Steele. His entire business is based on the depth chart, right? Like you can look at his rankings and stuff like that, but it's depth charts and the schedules are what people like. It's quick information. It's easy. It's a nice resource to have. The funny thing about the depth chart versus announcing who's available and who's not, those two things aren't related at all. They don't have anything to. You might think that like, oh well, it's players' names. Those are unrelated entirely, right? It's like, yeah, depth chart. Who would be there? Yeah. Who would be out there? Who'd be in the rotation? Versus saying who's actually available to play.
Oh, yeah. Whit was like, you were actually getting more before you compelled me. Because as we talked about the other day, available and not available doesn't mean anything. Lauri Markkanen was technically available. Yeah. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
He could list the only people on the unavailable list as the season-ending guys he talked about before and still be complying with the rule, technically.
Now, I do wonder if coaches who have to deal with NIL have faced the worst-case scenario already, which I believe they have, which is, if I paid X amount of dollars, why is this guy not playing? And I'm going to ask you, because I've paid for the access and I've paid for the right to be able to ask you this question, why is the guy who I forked over
whatever
$50,000, $100,000, whatever for, why is he not on the depth chart? And Whit or whoever now says, I'm not showing you a depth chart because I don't want to answer that question. I don't want to answer that question to you. I'll take your money, but I don't want to have to answer that question.
Or at least I don't want to answer it truthfully.
Yeah. He's in the mix.
He's battling.
He's battling.
Battling. Big time.
You'll see him on the field.
I think it's a 1A, 1B kind of thing, honestly.
Yeah. So I don't like it. I would prefer to see the depth chart. It makes my job a little easier, but I think fans like it. And I think when you take things away from the fans, it makes the game worse.
I honestly, if you want to ask my personal opinion, I don't care. I'll find something to talk about. I would have been talking about your team, talking about the depth chart. I'll find something else. Yeah. We'll do a Jazz segment.
Yeah, right. We're not talking about your team, though.
Yeah. I don't personally care for people who will inevitably respond to me and be like, you and the media are just hurt, blah, blah, blah. Well, honestly, it doesn't change my job all that much.
Yeah.
I'm not begging for a depth chart. It did give me an excuse to talk about your team. If you don't want us to or the overall public to, then don't release it, I guess. But personally, I don't care.
Right.
Next.
Number 2, according to a guy, Keith Smith with Spotrac,
Our
the
guy.
Utah Jazz are bringing back the Big Sheebs.
It is official. The Jazz have made this signing for Oscar Tshiebwe to come back on a 2-way contract, which good for Oscar. Right? There was a rumor that he was going to go sign in Europe and it kind of fell apart. The Jazz had 3, you have 3 2-way contracts. Elijah Harkless was on one of them. R.J. Lewis was signed to one, but of course the Jazz traded him for George Niang. So the Jazz had 2 open 2-way contracts, and now they have just one after Oscar resigns, which they can fill with John Tonji, their second-round draft pick. A little strange he's remained unsigned, but they'll get that worked out.
I like many things about Tshiebwe. I don't know if he'll ever be a dominant big in the NBA. I do like that he plays hard no matter what. And that was proven over and over again last year, even when he played, multiple times on the same day. But, Ben, and you could speak on this better than me because you've talked to him more, but I'll give you an example. I have a buddy in my personal life named Matt, who I just love because he has the best perspective. You never hear the guy complain. He's always talking positively about other people. You never hear him he just has a really good perspective on life, well-adjusted, all those things. Tshiebwe totally strikes me as that guy. You know what I mean? I bet he's a good locker room guy, I bet, because you never have a negative conversation with him.
So the G League is funny. And I've heard Will Hardy say this. Sometimes you don't want guys to enjoy the G League, right? You want Cody Williams to go down to the G League and say, I hate this so bad, I never want to come back here. So I'm going to do everything the coach says to make sure I stay in the 5-star hotel and I'm on the team plane and the hours are normal and I'm not playing 2 games in 24 hours. That is one approach to it. There is also the approach that we have to have a G League team. We have to manage it. And I don't want everybody on the G League team fighting me about moving up to the main roster and playing. And Oscar is that guy. Put him in the G League, fine. That's where I am. I see the upside in that versus whatever else I could be doing in my life, which, based on his background, could be any number of things. But Oscar's a wonderful story and probably maybe the best human in the NBA right now. So having that guy there to provide perspective, to lighten the mood for everybody, to just be a joy to be around, and then to haul in 30 rebounds to give your other players who are playing in the G League opportunities to get a lot of possessions and never asked to touch the ball is really beneficial. That's really where his on-the-court presence helps versus his off-the-court or locker room. He gives you so many possessions.
Now, I do, and I have no idea who his agent is, but I do think he has a bad agent.
Okay.
Because with new precedents in the G League, I would be pulling a Bronny James and being like, dude, I'm staying at the 5 stars in the G League.
I'm not traveling with the team.
I'm not doing any of that crap. You want me on a 2-way? Well, guess what? I'm staying at the Ritz, baby. And I'm flying at least Southwest to the games.
His agent is Nate Conley.
Come on, Nate. Bronny set the trend, man.
I don't think Oscar's an NBA player. He's truly maybe the best rebounder in the world. And I'm not kidding about that. He might be the best rebounder on the planet. I don't think the rest of his game is good enough right now, and I'll be curious if it ever gets there.
I don't know if that matters. If it's true and you have that kind of skill as a rebounder, Boardman gets paid, as they say, Ben. But yeah, got to improve like anybody else, but pretty amazing. All right, What's next?
Number 3 this morning, the Colts announced that Daniel Jones will be their starting quarterback week 1. Does this mean the Anthony Richardson experiment is over?
I like this story because, A, we saw the Anthony Richardson experiment begin.
Yeah, you fell in love with him, and I got to feast on your tears this morning for breakfast.
None of that happened. You were way more on the McKay Hillstead train than I ever was on the Anthony Richardson train.
Uh-huh.
But
you
we
can remember
saw
it that way.
I just remember saying, that guy's going to be a top 10 pick based on his physical tools. I didn't believe in him at all making it. It is amazing to look back and say, this guy was a 55% completion success rate guy in college. Was not particularly good. Awesome physically, but wasn't that good of a college player. Got drafted number 4 overall, was never a good NFL player, and then gets replaced by the other guy who, for how long has Daniel Jones been in the NFL? Is this his 3rd year, 4th year?
I think it's
been a while.
Yeah.
I think he's pushing 6 or 7.
Oh, not that
No,
long.
no way. It's got to be his 4th. Was every time he stepped on the field the worst quarterback in the NFL? Right? He got beat out by, who was the Italian guy?
He didn't get beat out by that guy.
DeVito.
Tommy DeVito or whatever, he played because of injury. He never got beat out by him.
Daniel Jones truly can't play.
Christian was right. He's been in the league since 2019.
He was the same draft class as Drew Lock. That's why I remember.
Pre-COVID. Wow.
Well, just please don't tell me that Anthony Richardson forgot how to play football.
You can't forget what you never know.
He was never good.
Yeah.
And that was the genesis of our discussion when Utah was going to play Florida. The man can't throw the forward pass. So how good could he be? And the truth is, not good enough to start for the Colts. And it is crazy. And let it be a lesson to people out there that NFL people are susceptible to narratives as well. That's why narratives are such a strong thing in society, because people believe them.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, the narrative gets out there that, oh, this guy's the next Cam Newton. Yeah, he may struggle with the forward pass, but everything else is superhuman, so he's going to be awesome. No, he's not. And you forget that, honestly, Cam Newton wasn't that awesome. I mean, he had one year where he was the MVP, and it wasn't because he was a great passer. Now, he had a decent passing season. I'm really not trying to take anybody's shine, I suppose. But then he doesn't dive on that fumble in the Super Bowl, and his career is basically over. I don't think he was ever that great to begin with, my opinion. But you get that comparison, and Cam Newton's the hot thing, and all of a sudden that dude goes number 4, and you're talking yourself out of what you can plainly see. And it's that this guy can't pass. But you go, what if?
It's because the quarterback position is not a physical tools position. It's not. You have to meet certain standards. It's really hard to be 5'10" and be a pro. A couple of guys have done it, but it's hard to be small. But just because you're shaped like Josh Allen, which I remember was what made like kind of the optimistic comps were on Anthony Richardson, Josh Allen, as you mentioned, Cam Newton. Those are kind of the guys, like these big body dudes who can run a little bit, have big arms. That was the hope. Just because you've got similar physical tools does not mean that you've got it between the ears.
And talk about, he should have won, getting back to the BYU thing for just 1 second, but like, he had all the built-in advantages. The fact that he got beat out in camp should tell you everything. Not just that he got beat out by Daniel Jones, but that he got beat out. They are invested in his success. They want him to succeed, because him not succeeding, that's how GMs lose jobs,
Daniel Jones is 3-13 in his last 16 starts and did get benched last year for DeVito. A healthy scratch in favor of DeVito because he lost 5 straight. And that's who Anthony Richardson's losing his job to.
We'll see how it goes.
Crazy to see the Colts go from what they were through so much of the early 2000s.
Richardson will play this year, though.
He will. Yeah, he'll play.
Yeah, he'll play this year. So we'll see how it goes. See how he responds. All right, stay tuned. More next. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
What's that? Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's give away some tickets. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Going to hook you up with a family 4-pack of tickets to an upcoming Salt Lake Bees game at their brand new stadium in Daybreak. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. And honestly, if you haven't been out to the new stadium, it's really cool. They really are innovative on how they do service.
Okay.
Like lines weren't a thing at the game that I went to.
All right.
Which is really cool. They've made it so it's all really available and it's all really efficient, and you're not standing in the whatever line for an inning and a half. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's important. I went to the White Sox game against the Mariners and went to get a cheesesteak and was in line forever. And as I came back, I told you, the guy next to me was like, a foul ball got hit right to you.
Rough.
Okay. Well, I hope this cheesesteak's good. Hope this $19 cheesesteak tastes good.
Was it?
It wasn't worth a foul ball, but I also don't have a ton of faith I would have caught the foul ball. So I would have just embarrassed myself. So at least I did catch a cheesesteak.
But yeah, I mean, not only is the facility beautiful, but they put a lot of thought into experience and having a good time. So
well, you need to
go experience it yourself.
This is a bit of an audition for a Major League Baseball team. You know, this is an audition to show that we can do it right and we can build a stadium and people will support it. And, you know, if a Major League team comes, it will get more support than any minor league team in every market. But this is interesting, especially because Rob Manfred said the other day that they continue to touch on expansion. What was interesting to me with the expansion, because we know Salt Lake, Nashville, Portland, Orlando are kind of the teams that have been discussed or areas that have been discussed, is Rob Manfred also mentioned baseball realignment, which seems to have really struck a nerve with the traditionalists in baseball fandom.
Which I would consider myself one, but at what point did the traditionalists lose in baseball?
Well, for a long time.
Yeah, since going back to the early 90s when interleague play became a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, the only time you used to see the leagues play each other was the All-Star game and
the World Series.
Mm-hmm. And the only people that made the playoffs were, the two best teams? And then they really have been moving away from, I don't know, all the traditions in baseball ever since. I mean, you're talking about this is some sort of, the traditionalists are like the traditionalists lost a long time ago. I can't believe both leagues have a designated hitter. I mean, that's crazy. So I honestly have a tough time caring about these sorts of things because baseball, and maybe you can make the argument they should have evolved, but they've changed so many things over the last 30 years, 40 years, whatever it is, 30 years. This is just another thing. Might as well realign it. Why not?
And there have been people pushing for it. And basically what you would do is you would have an Eastern Conference and a Western Conference, just like in the NBA.
Well, do it better than the NBA. But let's play the clip.
Yeah,
here's the commissioner of Major League Baseball.
How about a window into the future? Expansion, realignment, expanded playoffs. I mean, Can you see that down the road?
I can. I think the first two topics are related in my mind. I think if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign. I think we could save a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel. And I think our postseason format would be even more appealing for, entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing up out of the East, out of the West, and that 10 o'clock time slot where we, sometimes get Boston, Anaheim, would be two West Coast teams, and that 10 o'clock slot that's a problem for us sometimes becomes a real opportunity for our West Coast audience. So I think, I think the owners realize that there's demand for Major League Baseball in a lot of great cities, and that we have an opportunity to do something good around that expansion process.
That was Rob Manfred at a rave. Somebody caught up to him at a rave and started talking to him about expansion.
I like your outfit. How tall are those boots? What do you think about realignment?
I think that was at the Little League World Series, if I'm not wrong.
I think we just did a baseball game, wasn't it? Was it just a Major League game?
No, I think it was.
Oh, was it really?
I think
Little League?
so.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, listen. Always when somebody's about to stuff a cat in the wall, pay attention to their reasoning, okay? The TV stuff, fine, but nobody cares about that, right? He thinks, he's like, well, our West Coast, it's like that's not something that people are going to latch onto. So he throws the travel in there. Listen, travel is not a problem in baseball.
Yeah, that caught my eye, too. It's like you travel every 4 days.
Yeah, travel is not a problem in baseball. It is not wear and tear in baseball compared to
every other sport.
Right.
The physicality of football or the travel demands of the NBA and the NHL.
You're going to a market. You're staying 4 days in most series, right? Then they give you a travel day. Every Major League Baseball team has an entire day to travel. This is not like they're jumping on the plane after the game like the NBA. This is you get on the plane in the morning, you hit the new town by late morning, and you're in your 5-star hotel ready to stay another basically 5 days. So travel in Major League Baseball is not a reason to make such a dramatic shift in basically how you're structured. So
they already travel pretty geographically. Like when the Yankees come west, they play Seattle and then they play Anaheim.
Right.
They don't go Chicago,
Miami,
Houston.
Seattle.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're not zigzagging all over the country traditionally. I'm sure there are long flights every year, but yeah, it's not every other night.
Yeah, NBA players who I don't have a ton of sympathy for on these sort of matters, but have got to be listening to that and rolling their eyes like, oh, please, you guys don't travel. What are you talking about? So I buy the TV stuff as a reasoning he wants to do it, but travel is not. That's just trying to justify something that you want to do that's going to get you backlash. I mean, give me baseball where you stay. So you want to know why these pitchers are all great golfers? Because starting pitchers play golf 4 days a week.
Right.
They'll go into whatever city, play the 3 best golf courses, and then pitch one day.
But yeah, I think you end up with Utah, Arizona, Colorado, and probably a 4th team in a division. Maybe the Athletics in Vegas. That'd probably be your division. Or your whatever. Yeah, I guess division if there was a West Coast and an East Coast, or a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference.
I don't know. But baseball, as far as, traditionalists, are they going to win out on the argument, have lost out on the argument a long time ago. And so it wouldn't shock me if they do this. Certainly sounds like they're going to expand.
Yep.
Which is good news, I would hope, for Salt Lake City.
You got to make it. If you don't get this round of expansion, it's probably going to be a while.
Well, I think Portland has fallen back. I mean, Portland used to be the big one everybody brought up. I think Nashville is going to happen.
I think Nashville's the front runner.
Not a surprise. Really growing market, like not really dominated by anything other than Tennessee football. I mean, they could make an impact in Nashville. Plus, it's a real party town. Like Major League Baseball in the summer would fit in seamlessly. You brought up Orlando. I've honestly never heard that. Why would they go to Orlando? They already have... how many teams in Florida that they already don't support?
Yeah. Right. I would be surprised. I'd be surprised they went to Florida.
They already don't support the Marlins. They don't support the Rays.
Yeah.
I mean, the Rays would be freaking out. They'd be like, you're putting another team in Orlando, so you're going to take half of our 8 fans? Yeah, I don't see Orlando happening.
Yep. I'm with you.
All right. Stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Decision making is clocking head, getting the ball out quicker, not holding on to it as long. Accuracy, virtually across the board. And really, all those game reps he had last year paying dividends now. There's really no substitute for game reps. That's the big thing that we have going for him in that battle against Burt Ficklen, because he's had reps at this level and Burt not.
That's Coach Witt talking about Isaac Wilson.
Mid-drum circle. You caught up with Witt at the Liberty Park drum circle. Just banging away on some drums.
Once again, Isaac Wilson gets dragged. He's the only guy on the team that they're going to identify as second string.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody else is first string in our book. Except for you, Isaac.
Not you, pal.
Not you, pal. You're number 2. And I'm going to go tell everybody. I'm kidding, of course. But Witt is not going to release depth charts any longer. But Isaac Wilson, he did confirm as the backup quarterback. And those were the reasons why. So the Bear getting the nod at BYU is the big story. But other quarterback news, Isaac Wilson is the backup at Utah.
A lot of guys play. So the depth chart thing is, you do have your starters and you have your stars. And I guess if there's one spot where I'd be curious who gets the most reps, which we will know pretty quickly, will be the running back position for Utah. But yeah, we'll see. Utah, with all due respect, and this is the case for every quarterback room in the country, hopes they never have to see their backup quarterback. Unless you're a true specialist in some situations, like Tyler Huntley as a freshman or Tim Tebow at the goal line, as a young player, you don't really want to see your backup quarterbacks.
No. I still think this new offense and its fit at Utah is even the story when it comes to this. Is Isaac Wilson, we can talk about the game experience that we saw last year, which is something. I believe what he's saying right there, but he wasn't running a spread option offense. This is going to be something that's entirely different. Is Isaac Wilson a good fit? Is he a better fit? Maybe. I don't know. But if Utah does have to go to their backup quarterback, if Dampier for some reason has to miss time, heaven forbid, I don't know if last year's experience is going to help or hurt Isaac Wilson, honestly, because he's running a totally different scheme. Yeah. It's going to ask something entirely different out of him. And again, like I said, maybe it's a better fit for him. I don't know. It's not as much of a complicated throwing offense. That's true. It's a lot of timing stuff. I don't know. Is he an RPO guy?
It is interesting. Whit was talking about the clock in his head, which makes me think it's no. Obviously RPO is very much clock driven, right? It's quick decisions and it's recognizing what the defense is doing. And are you talking about the clock of how quickly the pocket's collapsing and how quickly you have to get the ball out? Or are you talking about those RPO decisions and how quick those have to be? I don't think it's RPO decisions. I could be wrong. But again, it is interesting in general to commit to this bit that Utah is committing to, which is, I don't want to say a gimmick, but an offense that requires very specific types of players, especially a quarterback. Because if the backup is not that type of quarterback, everything changes immediately if they step on the field. And unfortunately, based on the style your starting quarterback plays, the odds of him making it through 12 games is difficult. It's difficult for any quarterback to make it through because they're the number one target. And if they're going to be out there running around, it's really going to be difficult to stay healthy. So, yeah, that'll be a big question for Utah.
So, if Dampier proves to be a big a part of the offense as he was in New Mexico, then if he were not to play, it would be devastating. And Isaac Wilson could be back in the spot he was last year, running a different kind of offense. So I wonder do you think it's that way? Really, BYU and Utah are in the same boat potentially, right? Your starter isn't available for whatever reason, and the season's just over. Is it that way everywhere in college football now? Because if you're any good as a backup, you're transferring to play somewhere else?
There's probably not a lot of, good backup might be an oxymoron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is this true for every program? What happened to Utah last year? Is that true for every decent school? I don't know. I don't follow it close enough. Is it a death sentence?
Arch Manning played well.
If your quarterback
Arch Manning was good.
Gets hurt? Arch Manning is the exception, not the rule, because he's the only one who's signing up to play 4 years of university anymore, according to him, and who's perfectly willing to just stay at the same place and sit for 2 years. I think that's the exception. I don't think that's the rule.
Yeah, and it's not. They're not the one exception. There's talented quarterbacks that aren't winning jobs, based on
but then they
other
leave.
Good quarterbacks. But yeah, they leave generally. So you only know that for a year. I don't think you know that for 2 seasons. Yeah, you know it for a year. Oh, the backup's good. He's too good to be not playing.
Like Bryson Barnes, who would have won more games for Utah last year than Isaac Wilson did, transferred.
He left, yeah.
He's like, I'm not going to sit and back up Cam Rising. I'm out of here. I'm going to go somewhere where I can play. So, thus, Utah's season was ruined because they had to go to the Frosh when that wasn't a very good option because their backup quarterback bounced. So, I wonder how true that is across the board. Like, why am I going blank now? Who's our guy in Kansas? Or Kansas State, for that matter.
Avery
Johnson at Kansas State. I mean, if he goes down, is it over for Kansas State?
Probably.
Is the season just? I mean, we might as well not show up.
Mm-hmm. I mean, not show up is a little dramatic, but yeah.
I mean, I would argue that Utah did not show up against Houston.
Sure. I think that's fair. Yeah, I don't.
Jalen Daniels, thank you, Christian. Sorry, brain fart.
He's never healthy.
And if he is, then Kansas actually should be pretty good.
Yeah.
But if he gets hurt, is it over?
Unfortunately, yes.
I wonder if that's true at Ohio State.
Well, they just named a freshman, right? A transfer from, where was he? LSU, Texas? I can't remember where he's transferring over from.
But, I mean, even in Ohio State's case, Joe Burrow got beat out and transferred.
Right.
So whoever was just beat out by that freshman is transferring probably as soon as they can.
I mean, Bear Bachmeier transferred to BYU. A, they lost their coach, and B, the Oregon State transfer moved over.
But if that player from Ohio State, whatever, transfers now, they don't have to burn a year of eligibility.
Right.
I mean, even in that case, why would you stick around and burn a year of eligibility being the replacement? I guess you would hope you Wally Pipp the guy, but that isn't the right mentality to go into a season with, where you're rooting for the other guy to get hurt.
It's not what you're being set up for. No,
So,
we talked about where did Brandon Rose land?
Oh, UMass.
UMass, right? Like, that's the question. Is Isaac Wilson probably could have gone to Utah State? I would think. Maybe not.
I can't believe he came back to Utah.
But
honestly.
yeah, the fact that he came back to Utah might tell you that there weren't a lot of other great offers there for him, but that's because he wasn't great last year.
Well, and honestly, good for him and good for Utah. Like, I don't
Absolutely.
mean to come off too negative. I'm just surprised he went through all that last year and was willing to come back.
It has a chance to be a great story, but you don't usually bet on guys who don't play particularly well coming back and improving dramatically. Now, it does happen. Guys get better in their sophomore seasons, or their second seasons. Maybe sophomore is a bad word to use, but their second seasons. And Jake Retzlaff's a great example of that. Sam Leavitt was okay at Michigan State his first year, didn't play a whole lot, but did do exactly what you're talking about, right? If he didn't think he was going to be the starter, you leave. And you go somewhere where you can start, even if it's a place that's a total wild card in Arizona State that was expected to be the worst team. But you start, and if you play well, which he did, Sam Leavitt might be the best returning quarterback or one of them in the conference this year, and Arizona State's primed to have another big season.
Is that a reason that BYU might have picked the Bear? You don't want him to bounce?
Bare necessities.
He loses out on the job, and he's like, I'm not sticking around to be a backup. I'm going to transfer again. I don't
think he would transfer twice in 3 months.
We've seen it before.
We have. I think that is a real way to find instability and never really become a person.
Who was that bozo Utah had for a hot second that transferred 3 times in a calendar year because he left from Utah mid-season? Bentley, was that the one who did that?
Yeah, Jake Bentley.
So, I mean, it's not like we haven't seen this before. And by the way, I have no idea. I'm just throwing that out there. I mean, is that a reason to pick the freshman because you want to keep him on your roster?
No, I don't think so.
And you don't think Hillstead will leave, so pick the Frosh?
No, because I thought about the same thing with Utah, which is, Isaac beats out Ficklin, right? Bird Ficklin, excuse me, is the backup there, and now he's third, and that's, I guess, the guy you would have hoped would have come in and gotten the backup job. But now you got to worry about him transferring, right? And he already transferred him.
Why would you want Ficklin to get it? Isaac Wilson was Ficklin.
Right.
The hot young freshman.
Yeah, he was.
He was that guy. Like, it's so funny how people are so willing to move off of players and their potential. Is Isaac Wilson's potential any different than it was before last year? I would argue no, because it was such a bad situation, which is exactly what BYU's marching into this year. The Bear, the hot freshman.
Yeah.
What happens when he struggles? Mm-hmm. I mean, is Ben Anderson next year going to be talking about the Bear transferring to Utah State?
Maybe. It's possible. I think whoever... I think you do carve this out with the hope that they play 2 years and then Ryder Lyons steps in and is ready to go. But if Bear is not very good his first year, BYU will replace him.
That's unfair. That's why you don't want to play a freshman. That's the whole reason you don't want to make this decision. Isaac Wilson, let it be a lesson to you. Everybody now thinks he's throwing it backwards out there. I would argue he still has a ton of potential. He was put in a terrible situation, but people are all just closing the book on the dude. And that's the danger you run with the Bear down at BYU. If he doesn't come out of the gate like Johnny Football, well, all of a sudden, are you moving off him after a year, 2 years? I would argue moving off him after 2 years is unfair.
I would think he's slightly less likely to transfer because he starts this year, but certainly not like it would have been 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when you could still get dinged for transferring and you'd have to sit out a year, and guys didn't want to do that. I just don't think it actually weighs that heavily in what your decision this year can't be dependent on what you think you're going to do next year anymore in college football, which I don't envy for coaches.
Zach Wilson beat USC in his first year starting and then played pretty well for the rest of the year, capped off with a great bowl performance. I was talking to people at the time who were like, I don't think this guy's got it. I think BYU should move off him. And it's like, what are you talking about? The guy just had his first experience. He showed promise. Then all of a sudden he's the number 2 pick in the draft. And I mean, no matter what you think of his career with the Jets, he could sling the football and did so at BYU. So what happens, like, why do people want to automatically cast judgments on young quarterbacks who first get their first opportunity? I brought this up earlier. John Beck sucked his first opportunities at BYU. It's not fair. It's not fair that we're talking about Isaac Wilson and saying, like, oh, I can't believe he didn't transfer to SUU.
Yeah.
The college version of Christian should be interviewing him right now.
Yeah.
That's not fair. He could still be an NFL guy. I mean, if he were, I would probably not have picked Utah on the spread option attack.
Sure.
But, whatever. I'm not going to close the book on the guy. It's not fair. I don't think it's honestly fair to Bachmeier because he's not going to play well. Certainly not at the beginning. And people are going to pile on, and then there's going to be people who be like, close the book on the Bear. And it's like, dude, what if we just made you, like, the salesperson, what if we just made you CEO of the company and said, all right, do it? Maybe you'd be good at it eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe after a year or two, you'd probably figure it out. Probably suck at it right away.
Yeah. It's not enviable. And, we're seeing it in the NFL right now. I mean, just it's how critical that position is. And it's goofy. It's weighted so heavily in that position. It's unfortunate if you're good at everything else.
I think the NFL closes the book on guys too early.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
You're a huge Anthony Richardson guy, and they're closing the book on him for Daniel Jones.
Well.
But that's the problem. You have a guy, and you're relevant, and you don't, and it's a mess forever.
Well, the Jets have obviously closed the book on guys too soon. Not that Sam Darnold is the greatest quarterback in the NFL, but he's better than the Jets have had since.
Probably better than what they have now.
Is definitely better than what they have now.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for Zach Wilson. I think Geno Smith could play well for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll might have been a savvy, really good hire for Vegas, by the way. I don't know if it's going to work, but he's kind of what they need.
Yeah.
Kind of a strong man, kind of
stabilizer.
We're going to play defense and run.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. We'll have more coming up next. We're going to do this silly thing.
Big 12 Power Poll. What's silly about it? We
Nobody's
got a game
played.
on Saturday. It's the preseason Power Poll.
We're going to do that next.
If you want to wait to do it until we have the final standings of the season and tell everyone who's listening who's good based on what they just watched over the last 14 weeks, we can do that.
801-575-ZONE, caller number 12 right now. We're hooking you up with a family 4-pack of tickets to go see the Bees at an upcoming game at their brand new stadium in Daybreak. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. More Jake and Ben next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who is climbing? Who is falling? And who just flat out stinks?
Some of y'all football sucks.
This is the Big 12 Power Poll with Jake and Ben on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, Ben, did you know Pro Bowler Justin Herbert is apparently dating Madison Beer?
Who's that?
I don't know. Pop star is what they say, Madison Beer. I expect you to know these things. You
Spelled B-E-E-R?
Yeah.
B-E-E. I thought I said too many E's there. Yeah.
Madison Beer. Christian?
Yeah, she's a singer.
Good one?
She has one song that's pretty popular. My wife likes her.
All right. Time for the Big 12 Power Poll.
Shout out Madison Beer.
where we rank all 35 teams in the Big 12, which is great fun.
Well, I liked it because 2 years ago we were doing the Pac-12, Big 12. We were doing all 26 teams. And now we're down to just 16. Yeah, the Big Pac Power Poll. Now we're down to just 16, which is a little lousy, in my opinion, but whatever.
Sure. All right. Where are we starting? Who's the bottom of the barrel?
We'll start with the caboose. Number 16, Central Florida.
Question is, can Scott Frost get this thing put back together in the wake of Gus Malzahn's very bizarre stay and sudden departure to Florida State to be their offensive coordinator? I don't expect it. The last time we saw them, they were getting crushed by Utah, which was a bad sign last year if you were getting crushed by Utah. So I didn't vote them last in the conference here. You guys both did, and I think you're probably right. I have no problem with Central Florida being the bottom of the barrel.
I couldn't rank enough teams last, frankly.
Yeah. And you know what? Totally new roster. Like, they aren't going to be anything similar to what they were. And the latest we've seen from Scott Frost, meaning what he last did at Nebraska, was not promising.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I know he did great things at Central Florida in his first stop.
Next.
Number 15, Oklahoma State.
No faith in the mullet, huh?
Well, I kind of do think that if anyone can bring it back, it's probably the mullet. Gundy has a history of doing that. There's a history of doing what Witt has done. You have a bad season, people ask, too old, not have it, it's too stubborn, and then they win a bunch of games. So maybe they're going to be the surprise team this year.
It's funny that most people have faith that Utah is going to have a better year, and most people don't think Oklahoma State is going to have a better year, even though they were in really similar circumstances last year where they were both expected to be good and then were not.
But there is this feeling that if Oklahoma State's bad this year, Gundy gets pushed out, and I don't get that feeling at Utah. I don't think they push Witt out.
Well, I never thought they'd push out Lavelle Edwards either, but...
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Witt doesn't want to leave on a bad note, though. He made that abundantly clear. So.
By the way, quickly, while we have the power polls up, Central Florida will open against Jacksonville State next weekend.
Big matchup.
Oklahoma State, even bigger, UT Martin.
Huge.
Big game one's coming up.
Well, who's next?
14, Arizona.
Again, crazy to have Noah Fafita and fall apart like they did last year. It's almost the inverse of what we've been talking about with Utah and BYU, which is if you only had a quarterback. They had a quarterback, we thought, but Jed takes off to Washington. Fafita does not follow him, stays at Arizona, and it was a mess. They were horrible last year.
Yeah, I kind of liked Brennan, too. That was a surprise to me, but I don't know if I expect them to be any better. Next.
Number 13, Houston.
I do expect Houston to get better.
I think so, too.
I don't know. They at least showed some signs of life last year.
They were absolutely atrocious offensively last year. What did they beat Utah, like 14-13 after the late interception and late touchdown, and it was pretty brutal to watch. It's funny, if Utah were to win that game, they would go to a bowl game, and I think we would have been talking about that season much differently. But, you lose to Houston, and it's rightfully so. It's going to be a...
I don't think we're talking about that season much differently.
No, I don't think we're celebrating it, but you're talking about a down year versus, like, people treating it like it was this true devastation. So we'll see. They're... switching some things up. They've got the five-star quarterback stepping in to start right away. Weigman. So we'll see what it looks like.
Next.
Number 12, Cincinnati.
Could have drafted Cincinnati as the most boring team in sports in last Wednesday's draft.
Christian has them like 5. Why are you in love with Cincinnati?
Trust the process.
Really?
I've heard some people saying they could be a surprise team. That's really all.
Okay. Christian's got him at 9, actually. I was joking.
Lost a lot of close games last year with some poor fourth quarter play. So we'll see. Yeah, maybe a couple of things get put together and they find a way to close out some of those games. And they could be the surprise team this year.
Next.
11, West Virginia.
Oh, the Mountaineers. They were kind of better than everybody thought last year?
Kind of.
I have no idea.
Yeah, and I think that's the truth. I think that's how everyone feels about the team this year. I think this is a West Virginia team that nobody really knows what to expect. They've got a Rich Rodriguez coming in. I don't know, man. It's got when you bring in a coach, you've got an inevitable turnover over your first couple of seasons. So, yeah, I just don't think anyone really knows what to expect.
Rich Rod's won there before, though, I suppose.
Yes. But so is Scott Frost at Central Florida, and that doesn't give me a lot of confidence.
Yeah, and don't forget that Rich Rod didn't leave Arizona because he was terrible. He left Arizona because of scandal.
Correct.
So, maybe Rich Rod can get results. All right, next.
Number 10, and I believe our biggest faller from our end-of-season rankings, Colorado.
Well, you lose the Heisman Trophy winner, and you lose at least very capable college quarterback. We'll see what he ends up looking like if he even makes the Browns, but in Shedeur. But it's losing a lot. And obviously, Prime's been going through a situation with his health. I'm glad he's feeling better and doing better at post-cancer, but it's just a lot to turn over. I wonder if by week 4 or 5, we're just talking about the inevitable end of Deion Sanders' run in Colorado. And I'm not just trying to hedge my bet against saying he was only going to last 24 months anyways, but if he's out after this year, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
You think they can him?
I think he could get pushed out if it looks like a disaster and he doesn't really seem to have any answers.
All right.
And he's not going to want to stick around and rebuild Colorado.
I don't think there's any way he gets canned. Maybe he leaves.
Yeah, he may leave, and he may try and capitalize before it gets too bad.
I don't think there's any way Colorado fires him.
But if they miss a bowl game, that's not shocking.
What's next?
Number 9, TCU.
What's next? Just kidding.
For what it's worth, they finished at 9 last year, and I think that's just about right.
Okay.
Good quarterback, Hoover, right? Josh Hoover, really good quarterback, but doesn't have a ton of weapons.
No, I bet you Sonny scores.
I don't believe in Sonny. I haven't ever believed in Sonny. I know the first year they went to the national championship game. I've never believed in Sonny Dykes.
He's an air raid.
Believe in him at Cal.
He's an air raid guy. He'll move the ball.
I don't believe. Yeah, they will move the ball. The Texas Tech.
Doesn't mean they're going to win.
Does not mean they're going to win at all. And I think that's what we're going to see from TCU. By the way, maybe the best opening game of anyone in the Big 12. Well, second, I should say. I guess technically it would be third. At North Carolina, taking on the Belichicks in their their first game.
In Bill's debut.
Next week, so very exciting.
I wonder how the Tar Heels are going to be.
Colorado does play host Georgia Tech in their season opener.
All right, next.
Number 8, Kansas.
They take on Fresno State this week, week 0.
Yeah, Daniel stays healthy. They could be good.
I'm not betting on it. He's never stayed healthy.
You were a big Jayhawk guy last year. Is that gone?
Rock Chalk! Till I die, baby. What's next?
Number 7, Baylor.
Yeah. They had the wrong quarterback to start the year last year, right? Made the switch, ran off a bunch of games, and now is expected to be one of these teams that could be the dark horse to jump up and win it.
Baylor. In all honesty, Ben, I did my ranking just exactly the same as the AP. And
glad you put some effort into it.
I don't know. I told you I didn't know. I told you I didn't want to do it, so I'm going with what the AP did. The AP does not like Kansas. They didn't get any votes. But the AP does like Baylor. They got some votes. So, but yet not as many as others.
Again, prolific through the air. Are you a really believer? Are you a believer in that coaching staff? I'm not a huge Aranda guy, but we'll see.
I liked him when he was at Utah State.
I liked him you mean as a coordinator?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, well, it does not make a good coach.
I don't know. They were decent last year.
They were decent last year. I wondered if 2 years ago there was a lot of talk that they were going to fire Dave Aranda. He does enough to save his job last year, and I wonder if they put themselves back in the spot where West Virginia was, where they now rue not moving on from him when they felt like they should have.
Next.
Number 6, the BYU Cougars.
Taking on Portland State. Obviously, the big question is the bare necessities. Bear Bachmeier, how does he play?
By the way, Jake had them ranked the highest out of all of us.
The AP loves him. What do you want from me?
You were hating on, Bear Bachmeier to open the show.
You just said you hated the person.
I did?
No.
I wasn't hating on anybody. Why are these things getting put on me? I didn't hate on...
You just seemed really down on Bear.
I did?
Ranked him the highest out of the 3 of us.
They have, among the teams we're ranking right now, and it is pretty consistent, top 9 teams have relatively good idea of what they're going to look like at quarterback. BYU is the main exception here.
Yeah.
So,
the Big 12 is loaded with quarterbacks.
Yeah, and the rest of the roster is great, though, at BYU. Like, really, truly very good.
The Associated Press thinks they'll be 5th. Next.
Number 5, Texas Tech.
Well, they just lost their running back, the USC transfer that was expected to step in and be the guy. Morton's going to move the ball. They move the ball. It's Texas Tech. But, yeah, losing the running back already is how things start to fall apart. You get early injuries.
The Red Raider fans better get off my back because I had him higher than either of you two guys.
Moe Jaguar?
I had him 4th.
You want Moe Jaguar?
Yeah, you better leave me alone because, man, I have a lot more faith in him than you guys do.
Yeah, we both had him at 5. You had him at 4.
Right.
I don't have a ton of faith in Texas Tech. I don't.
I have tons.
Yeah, sounds like it. No
well,
bozos
if you look at history,
no bozo zone.
You look at history, Ben. They've been blowing teams out of the water and winning league titles for away
with less talent than they have now.
What's next?
Number 4, Utah.
Biggest riser by far, jumping up from the end of season, number 13. At UCLA, that's a good game. That's a great test to jump out of the gates for Utah because I don't know if they're going to be very good. UCLA got the new quarterback coming in. Utah got the new quarterback coming in. Utah should be better everywhere else than UCLA.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of faith in the old Bruins.
But on the road is tough. Winning on the road in your first game is really difficult to do, even when you're the better team. See Utah, Florida, and Anthony Richardson.
You ever been to a UCLA home game? It's not that hard to win there.
No, we've seen Utah win there a lot.
It's not a difficult place to play. It's way open. It's not loud. It's like a third full.
Yeah.
Especially now that UCLA is expected to suck.
Yeah, there's not a lot of expectations for this team.
No, so I don't know what kind of environment that's going to be, but people have faith that Utah is going to put it back together.
Yep.
Next.
Number 3, Iowa State.
10-3 last year. Lost to Arizona State in the conference championship game. They did get smoked. That was not a competitive game.
They're consistently good.
Yeah.
You want to talk about history? I mean, Iowa State doesn't have the conference titles either, although they have more than Texas Tech, I believe. But you look at basically since that coach got there, they've been consistently good. You can kind of count on what Iowa State's going to give you.
They basically, and maybe not even basically, maybe they fully do, open the college football season. Saturday, 10 a.m. in Ireland, taking on the next team on our list.
Spoiler alert. Number 2, Kansas State.
Only 8-4 last year. That was underwhelming. With Avery Johnson and the roster they were expected to have to go 8-4, including truly horrendous losses.
Listen, I think Brett Yormark is fairly savvy. Mm-hmm. I think him killing the Pac-12 before the Pac-12 killed him was pretty savvy stuff. This is ridiculous. Why are they playing in Ireland? They don't need to play. This is not doing anything at all for the conference. It's not doing anything for either of these schools. Why are they doing this? Why are they playing a conference game week 0 or whatever it is? Why? This is so dumb. And they wouldn't shut up about it at Big 12 Conference Media Day. And it's like, what? I get what the NFL's doing. I get what Notre Dame's doing by going to Ireland. Why? This is dumb. It's like holding basketball practices at Rucker Park.
I'm with you.
It's just a waste of time.
This isn't like a Big 12 thing specifically, right? I mean, I know this is 2 Big 12 teams.
It is a Big 12 thing.
Is it specifically?
Yes.
It's only designed by the Big 12? Because last year it was Georgia Tech, Florida State. So they're just shifting through conferences.
This is a conference game.
Yes, it's a conference game, but this wasn't like Brett Yormark's big idea.
Who is shifting through conferences? This is all conference stuff. Absolutely.
But 2024 last year was Georgia Tech, Florida State.
Okay.
So I'm just saying it's not like this is a Big 12 specialty that they do every year with the thought of, well, we're going to expand the Big 12 by going and playing in Ireland.
Who's going to take the neutral site game in Ireland? That's all it is. And to make it a conference game is silly, in my opinion.
I don't like it either, but this isn't like the Big 12 trying to be innovative by playing this game. This is a college football thing.
No, I mean, Florida State and who was it last year?
Georgia Tech.
They played, instead of playing a neutral site game in Vegas, they played it in Ireland. Yeah. This is a conference game.
It is.
This is stupid. It's not, whatever.
I mean, last year was a conference game too, right?
Well, I suppose it was.
Yeah.
So maybe the ACC had something to do with it, but
I think these have consistently, and it's relatively new. I just think it's an idea of getting out there and playing these more.
I just think it's a waste of time.
because it was Nebraska and Illinois before that. So I'm with you. I'm not huge on this game either. I just don't think it's like, this is not your Mark's idea to be like, this is the plan for the Big 12 going forward.
All right, what's next?
Number 1 and the top team in our preseason Big 12 power poll, Arizona State.
Because we're basing this all on loose formulas of what works in college football, good returning quarterback, good roster around him, generally succeeds.
I like Dilly.
Yeah, the question marks are, what do you do when you've got a target on your back? And that is huge. When everyone comes for you, which probably didn't happen until week 6 or 7 last year for Arizona State. Now, to their point, they still beat everyone on their schedule, even after they had a target on their back and everyone started taking them seriously late in the year.
Except for Kansas.
That's right. Who beat everyone for that 4-week stretch. But, yeah, this is your year to go out there and prove it. You're a top 11 team in the country, right, to start the year. They ranked 11th, the highest Big 12 team. You start there, everyone's circling you. Everyone wants to come and beat you up. And how do you respond to that? And that's going to be new for Dillingham. He's never been through this before. They opened the season with Northern Arizona.
I would be genuinely surprised if Arizona State won the league again.
I'm with you. I think it's really hard to repeat, period. But, yeah, just the amount of luck you have to win a season or win a championship and stay healthy enough is really difficult.
Look at the BYU game alone last year for Arizona State.
They won a lot of close games. I would also add other great season openers, not this weekend, but next weekend. Baylor-Auburn, very good game.
All right, Christian, review.
All right, let's start with the bottom. Central Florida is number 16, then Oklahoma State, then Arizona, Houston, Cincinnati, West Virginia, Colorado, TCU, Kansas, Baylor, BYU, Texas Tech, Utah, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Arizona State.
Feel good about it. I think that's going to stay consistent all year long.
I think it's perfect.
Yeah. Jake, I know that was fun for you. So
I had a great time.
I know you were smiling through the whole
whole thing. I know. That's another reason to watch YouTube. All right, stay tuned. Jake and Ben, we'll wrap it up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Got it better than us!
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got him Matrix and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my. From the islands to the basketball courts, they bring me.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join JJ and Alex coming up tomorrow at RGS Exteriors from 3 to 6, 4235 Farm Road in West Jordan. Ben, you got to help me with something with the story that's out there. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are opening a steakhouse together called 1587 Prime. 1587 because that's their numbers, 15 and 87. It has not opened yet. They're going to be open for reservations, and it opens in like a month. But here is my concern, Ben. You got to tell me what this means. The restaurant will feature, quote, multi-sensory dining aspects, unquote. And they have not explained what that is.
Okay.
What is a multi-sensory dining?
I mean, generally, they already are, right?
Most food requires at least 3 senses.
If you can't smell it, you're not going to taste it. And if you can't touch it, you can't eat it. And you're definitely going to see it. And then if you go to Chili's, they're going to bring out a sizzling fajita to you. So you're going to get all 5 senses.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What is a multi-sensory dining aspect? Now, I'll tell you what I think it is, and which is a trend that is bugging me. There is, I guess there are multiple. Have you eaten at a place that's supposed to be like a nice restaurant? It's probably going to cost you a pretty penny, but you're going to get a really great meal. You know, place to go on your anniversary or something, and the nice restaurant thinks that like having Little John into DJ is what you need in your experience.
Okay, you think that's what they're going with?
I guarantee this means that they're going to play music really loud, even though it's a steakhouse.
You don't think they're going like super bougie? Like small plates, 12 courses.
I think they're going to try and make this steakhouse hip.
Half the food gets delivered in like bubbles.
They're going to be playing Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they're going Swiftie.
I mean, I went to this one place downtown, and I'm not even kidding. It was like, you look nice tonight! Yes, lovely, happy anniversary!
Nice to get away from the kids!
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It's like I'm getting a nice steak. It's not cheap. I can't even have a conversation because there's a DJ. Hard pass. But I guarantee that's what they mean. What else could they mean? You're getting a massage while you're eating your steak?
Goofy lighting, black lights, food that responds to black lights, like weird stuff like that. Now, then again, that totally fits in with the idea if you want to play like absurdly loud music or something, that could all come with it. I, like everyone, enjoy food quite a bit. I don't mind a fun and unique and new dining experience. It can really go overboard. The idea of it too cutesy, too cool, too hip, too different. We've been eating as humans for hundreds of thousands of years with one pretty normal process. A stick and food. And it goes from the ground or the plate to the mouth. And I don't know why we try and get too tricky with it. It's too fancy.
Well,
this is not going to work. Opening restaurants is a terrible business.
Well, and going into business with your buddy / teammate probably is not going to end well, I would guess. It usually does not.
Does not. Like Don Shula has a restaurant that's been quasi-successful. I don't think he has one here.
He did.
He did have one here.
Yeah, I don't know if Shula's is a thing
It's not
anymore.
still a thing here, but I know it's a steakhouse, probably still big in Miami.
John Elway's got a pretty big steakhouse in Denver.
See Elway having one. So, but it's just like, I don't know, is that making you a ton more money? That's the other question I have.
But were these people's restaurants multi-sensory? Because that's what you're missing.
I've been to Shula's. It was good. It was not multi-sensory. I don't think that's why it didn't work.
Did you get like a Shih Tzu massage? Is that a thing?
What, a little dog walk?
Yeah, right. I was like, no, that sounds like a dog.
Shiatsu?
Yeah, did you do goat yoga while you were eating your steak?
It's like a 3D chair. Or not 3D chair. All chairs are 3D. The massage chair. Like in a 3D movie is what I was thinking.
That's how they get away with charging $100 a steak.
Have you ever done that? You've been to Disney World?
Yes, I have.
Christian, you've been to Disney World. You've been to the thing where they do like the Donald Duck cartoon and like they splash you in the face with water or they like blast smells in. John Waters had a movie that was had smell-o-vision, and you would scratch a card as they walked through different rooms and you would have to smell things, some good, some bad. Is that what it is? I just want to smell my food and I want it to taste good.
AI Overview says this approach leverages sight, sound, touch, and even imagined sensations to create a more immersive and memorable experience for the diners.
Translation.
Imagine this plate. It's not here, but imagine what the steak would look like.
Translation, this is why we charge $150 a plate.
It's garbage. This is bad.
Stay tuned. Hans and Scotty are next.
Thanks, Christian.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.